Shri Rupa Manja.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, would you like to do this question? I can do that.
I don't know. We can take turns reading verses or something.
I usually read the verse and just say how it reflects in your life or global consciousness, whatever you feel. If you have something to say.
Go ahead.
Okay. Vikramo bhur svascha.
Vikramo bhur svascha.
Shemasya shranasya cha.
Shemasya shranasya cha.
Sarvakama vrasyapi.
Sarvakama varasyapi.
Arishcharana ashpadam.
Arishcharana ashpadam.
Vikramo bhuvasvascha.
Vikramo bhuvasvascha.
Shemasya shranasya cha.
Shemasya saranyascha.
Sarvakama vrasapi.
Sarvakama varasyapi.
Arishcharana ashpadam.
Arishcharana ashpadam.
You like to?
Vikramo bhurvasvascha.
Vikramo bhurvasvascha.
Shemasya saranasya cha.
Shemasya sharanasya.
Sarvakama varasyapi.
Sarvakama varasyapi.
Arishcharana ashpadam.
Arishcharana ashpadam. Anyone on the internet would like to chant? Vikrama.
Vikrama.
Forward steps. Bhuhu bhuva.
Bhuva.
Of the lower and upper planets.
The lower and upper planets.
Svaha.
Svaha.
As well of the heaven.
As well of the heaven.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Shemasya.
Shemasya.
Of the protection of all that we have.
Of the protection of all that we have.
Shranasya.
Sharanyasya.
Of fearlessness.
Of fearlessness.
Cha.
Cha.
Also.
Also.
Sarvakama.
Sarvakama.
All that we need.
All that we need.
Varasya.
Varasya.
Of all benedictions.
All benedictions.
Api.
Api.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Hare.
Hare.
Of the Lord.
Of the Lord.
Charana.
Charana.
The lotus feet.
Lotus feet.
Ashpadam.
Ashpadam.
Shelter.
Shelter.
Translation. Thus the forward steps of the Lord are the shelter for the upper, lower, and heavenly planets, as well as for all that we need. His lotus feet serve as protection from all kinds of fears. Reported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Absolute protection from all sorts of fear, as well as for all our needs of life, we must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Not only in this planet, but also in all the upper, lower, and heavenly planets. This absolute dependence on the Lord, feet of the Lord, on the lotus feet of the Lord is called pure devotional service, and it is directly hinted at within this message. No one should have any kind of doubt in this matter, nor should one be inclined to seek the help of any other demigods, because all of them are dependent on Him only. Everyone except the Lord Himself is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Even the all-pervading Supersoul is also dependent on the supreme aspect of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Om Madhyantare Nandasyam Dhyanashala Shalakaya Jaksho Naminita Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. We were born in darkness of ignorance. Our spiritual master is divine grace. Is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Open my dark eyes. The first light of knowledge. Offer up my humble obeisances. His Lord's feet. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So this last line got my attention. That even the super soul depends on Bhagavan, the Bhagavan future. The meaning of Bhagavan, the possessor of all opulences. We can count 6 opulences, the number, all the most famous, the most beautiful, the rich, famous, beautiful, smart, again, smart, rich, famous, yeah, strength, and renunciation. And that's like, as Prabhupada quotes in the introduction, Vasudev's father, he actually came up with this scientific approach to what is God. Like in the West, we address God, but nowadays, I'm God, you're God, everyone is God. I remember someone came to me on book distribution, and he told me, today I realized that I am God, and I was very surprised to hear that, because I just told him, well, it's weird, but I don't have your picture on my altar. You know, maybe you're God, but why I'm not worshiping you? So God is not like that. God is worshipped by everyone. And even if someone doesn't accept God as a worshipable force or personality, God allows to be worshipped through his other different futures. There are 3 futures, right? The Brahman, the effulgence, the energy, Paramatma, and ultimately the Bhagavan. So what is the Brahman that everyone worships? Everyone worships the phenomenal world, the manifestation is God in his energy, the nature, the climate, the resources. Everyone needs something to eat. Everyone needs energy. So everyone submits to some extent to God in that form, even in a positive or negative way. And then we go closer, we have the super soul aspect, that God connects everyone to the super soul, to the Paramatma. Probably some of you already experienced so many times the coincidences or intuition, right? You think about something, your friend, your partner comes up with the same idea, right? So what's the coincidence that it happens in its own accord? Prabhupada actually gives this really phenomenal proof of the super soul in that interaction between living entities, that you think about something and the other person thinks about the same thing, and you sync it, and the fact actually that you both perceive that you came up with this as an intuition, as an intuitive force, is by itself the proof that there's something that connects you. Not necessarily that you thought about the same thing, but specifically the fact that you perceived that there is some like common intuition. So that is Krishna, that is God. Krishna says, from me comes, what is it? Vedantisha Sarvam Kohanam Cha.
I am situated as a super soul in the heart of all living entities, and may come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness.
Yeah, so in that example, Prabhupada, he states the proof of God is that we perceive that. You know, you miss $100 to pay your bills or whatever, and you go on the street and you find these $100. What a coincidence! Someone might think, "Oh, what a coincidence! I just needed these $100." But no, if it was merely a coincidence, you would not perceive that it was a coincidence. And do you get it? It's like, or it's a subtle point. Yeah. So, but that's not enough to get out of our perturbed condition here in the mature world, because we have to come to a more personal friendship, personal relationship with God in his most direct, most intimate form, as the Bhagavan form, or specifically Krishna tu Bhagavan Svayam. Out of all the incarnations, extensions of Krishna, the super soul is or his different portions, planetary portions, Krishna is the origin of all that being. And And yeah, if we seek shelter in Him, we can find solace, we can find peace. Not in the demigods, not in these different minute extensions, incarnations, and so on, so on, but specifically Krishna. And Krishna, he can give us this shelter, like Prabhupada says. We must take shelter in the lotus feet of the Lord, not only is in this planet, but also in upper, lower, and heavenly planets. Everyone is afraid of from something in the material world. Even Lord Brahma, in one of the somewhere there in the fourth canto, I think it's explained how even Lord Brahma is afraid of death. Even Lord Brahma, right? His death actually, we depend on him living, but he himself is afraid of dying. You know, he lives for, I think, Govinda Prabhu mentioned 2 days ago, the how long the universe exists, right?
311 trillion, 40 billion years.
300, yeah, we cannot conceive that, but even that person, okay, it's easier to speak when I'm facing the, okay, so I'll just see. Thanks for the chat comment about the audio. So even Lord Brahma, he is afraid from dying, from death. So only as an insane person who thinks, so I'm gonna live forever, or he thinks I'm God, I'm eternal. Of course, we are God, we are eternal, but how we are God, that actually designates our relationship with this eternity. We are minute God, means that as long as we're not in touch with God, this feeling of eternity, this experience of eternity, consciousness, being consciously living as an eternal spiritual being, it's not perceivable. You cannot practice it, you cannot live it. Because just like what happens when the spark of the fire that emanates from the fire, which is fire, when it jumps out of the fire, it's not longer fire. It depends, of course, where it lands. If it lands in the water, it's extinguished. If it lands on the earth, it takes time until it's extinguished completely. If it lands in another fire, then it still continues to be fire. So similarly, the living entity, if it goes out of the shelter of God, of the Supreme Personality of God, and specifically Prabhupada gives us this relationship with the Supreme Personality of God, not the Supreme Demigod, like Indra or Brahma, whatever, the super soul even, or what to speak about Brahman, but specifically we go out of the relationship of Krishna consciousness. Our spark is no longer eternal. Not longer eternal, and we cannot longer perceive ourselves or live like that, and we can see that, right? There's a saying actually in Bengali saying Prabhupada likes to quote a lot, how Bhajan kara, gujam kara, no, Bhajan kara, puja kara, mrityu sarve hoy, something like that. Your bhajan, your relationship with God will be tested by death, by how well you're Krishna conscious, how well you're God conscious, how well you understand that you are not this body. When death comes, right? It sounds very simple. Sounds kind of too simple, but it's like that. We prepare to the moment of death, but when things which scare us approach, we can actually see how Krishna conscious we really are, how God conscious, how devotee conscious. I think in the morning we read the Nectar of Devotion, if some of you were here, that Krishna says that one who is devotee of me is not my devotee. One who is a devotee of my devotee is actually Krishna conscious, actually my devotee. So that's all going to be tested by this extreme conditions, and someone might ask like how I would know. Let's say I'm not perfect completely, but how I would know where I am. I mean, of course I'm going to be perplexed, but how to still sort of level ourselves without losing enthusiasm completely, or without puffing ourselves to like some inconceivable grade of Krishna consciousness or whatever. from my understanding, how I envision it is, that's where the sadhana bhakti comes into place. So as far as you Krishna conscious, God realized, self-realized, your sadhana will be the period of your practice. Not just when it's easy to do that, but when it's not so easy. When it's when there are obstacles, right? We train, we like, let's say in temple atmosphere, there are many devotees, you know, it's so easy to wake up, it's so easy to think about Krishna, everyone. And that's actually the purpose of sadhana bhakti, is to give you this, like, a natural environment, so you don't have to struggle against material nature. But at some point, Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, he takes away all these different things, and then he gives you an ability to see really where you're at. Is it easy to wake up even no one, your alarm clock is not working, or all these different things? So similarly, when the conditions are severe, that's especially when we need to catch exactly the lotus feet of Krishna, like Prabhupada was saying here in the purport, and practice even more rigidly, even more with determination, vidavrata, right? These great souls, they worship Krishna with full conviction and determination. Worship him, Krishna, he says in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's this is kind of how I experience how to perceive where we're really at in terms of dealing with severe conditions. Like now it's like a crisis all around the world. So people, they would, I guess, like one side of the how people deal with crisis would be just give up everything and stick to what's important for our material survival, right? Like I spoke to my dad yesterday, and he told me in Canada, the shelves in the store are like empty. It like reminded him of communism. It's like completely like crazy, and no cars, and people just in complete denial. You know, they just take everything and they just deny everything, which, you know, would put them into danger, or which is good. Of course, we have to be careful. But this is an extreme, and a different extreme that I don't care. I'm a transcendentalist, and I can just you know, walk naked like Shukadev Goswami, like here in the picture. You can see Shukadev Goswami is just sitting naked on the throne, and he doesn't care. Right? When the Srimad Bhagavatam started, he just walked through the city, and people would spit on him and throw rocks on him. So this is an extreme, which is for true Paramahamsas, of course. But if we do it, if we exhibit that unrightly, we're going to run into problems in our spiritual life and, of course, material life. So the in-between path, like I was mentioning before, that's what I was trying to bring into this discussion, is the rigid practice of the sadhana bhakti, of the simple process the Prabhupada gave us: rising early in the morning, chanting our runs, morning evening programs, sharing, discussing Krishna Katha, and continuing as if nothing happened with our sadhana. And then we can remain in Krishna consciousness regardless of what's going on, because this is so temporary. So how to perceive that is temporary? We stick to the eternal. If we go with the temporary, we can go here and there and change from this thing to that thing. We won't be able to perceive even to perceive the change. But if we stick to the eternal practice, chanting of the holy names, worshipping the pure devotees, then we have a chance, although we're not perfect. And that's why Prabhupada actually in the Bhagavad Gita, or I think Bhagavad Gita, he mentions how my disciples, by following the regulative principles, by performing all these different spiritual duties, just by performing them, it sets them on an imperceptibly liberated platform. They're not liberated, but they're on the way to become liberated. So they're liberated in that sense for being nicely situated in the primarily stage of Bhakti Yoga, sadhana Bhakti. So I think that's all I wanted to convey. You want to share something, highlight some points, welcome to do so, or someone from the chat. Thank you for joining, Brielle.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
So our sadness testing at the time of death. Yeah, since every moon can be seen as the time of death. You know, when death is coming. Of course, there's like a global calamity happening. So we can look at, what's my internal response? What's my internal reaction? Am I in fear that, that death means the collapse and destruction of different things. So we all have plans that are being destroyed or changed. Or tomorrow, next week, in 2 months from now, but we all have plans. And he said they're all dying. Okay, so where are we joyfully deepening our enthusiasm for from hearing and chanting? And where are we in anxiety and we're attached? No, life needs to be that way. We're attached to this external plan and it's being collapsed. And that's our test.
What is more important? If our material life is more important, then it's going to be exhibited by our slacking from the spiritual beauties, from all those things.
A fun story that was told by Ramachandra in Montreal came through. Here's kind of related to it about being fearless in any circumstance. I don't know what where he got this from. I'm not quite sure, but it's a story of this person who is in some hellish planet. And on this one, Yamaji was just taking him down into a hot burning lake of urine stool. So he kept putting him under and lifting him up. And his personality would just come up with a smile and his thumb up. That's the way he did it, right? And he put him down and he'd come up and just, again and again. And finally, the Yamaji was like, "What's wrong with you?" Yeah, he was joyful and happy. Thumbs up, the way he did it was funny. And he said, "What's wrong with you?" And he said, "I'm very happy because Vaishnav is taking birth in my family, and I'm not going to be here very long."
Most Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
And then the vision of eternity. The happiness and the stress of this world, this is temporary. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes Yamina Vyatayante Te Pusham Pusharsham Dukkha Sukham Sanam Tattvayam Kalpate. Krishna says to Arjuna, one who is steady in happiness and distress and who is not disturbed by either is eligible for liberation. Realizing that happiness and distress, their appearance, their disappearance, they're temporary. They come and go. And to not let ourselves get distracted from engaging in the eternal life of the soul. And that's Ajna Bhakti. But that's the platform of liberation. Yeah. Yes. There's been Mukunda Dat, the devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was angry with him. He said, before he said, yes, I don't want to see Mukunda Dat for another 10 million lifetimes.
We just spoke about it.
Yes. So Mukunda, some of the devotees were morose. Why are you so heavy, Mukunda Dat? And they told Mukunda, Lord Chaitanya won't agree to see you for 10 million lifetimes. So Mukunda Dat started dancing in ecstasy. In 10 million lifetimes, I get to see Lord Chaitanya.
Oh, that was more than
Something. Yeah, I think it's 10. So when Lord Chaitanya heard and perceived Mukunda Dat's reaction, he said, "Oh, bring him here now. I have to associate." So, yeah, it's our test to what extent are we focused on the eternal, focused on the eternal, not that which comes and goes. Whether it's so-called material happiness, can distract us from the elation, or the material distress and calamities, which moves us through fear, anxiety, depression. To what extent are we attached to the eternal?
just an interesting point that it's actually the same thing. Like either you have crisis in terms of something bad or crisis in terms of something good. It's like, oh, I have so many children and grandchildren and money and actually cars. Still, it's a crisis because you can't wake up. You think you're here to enjoy. But when something bad happens, you're here to suffer wrong. My family in Israel, Canada. The same kind of illusion.
Comes to teach us in order to Krishna says happiness and distress. We must learn to tolerate these without being disturbed. But that's it. It's the good and bad to relate that to spiritual. But whether material things are wonderful or terrible, it's a crisis because it's a crisis for spiritual. We're asleep to our real identity. That's the real crisis. And awakening to an eternal identity. Spirits also in Krishna. And material things can be in quarantine. There can be wonderful association materially, but that's auspicious. That's auspicious for awakening more and more to our eternal life. Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
I have sort of a question. Maybe someone in the audience would like to interact here in the chat, or you can say what you think about it. But I was wondering, there are different instances in like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam where like personalities who we know that are liberated, like not just liberated, Krishna, Arjuna, they exhibited like, I guess, like external limitation when, for example, Arjuna, when after the war, when I think his sons died, so he was lamenting, was sad. And Krishna, when his father Vasudeva was kidnapped by the demon Mayadava, that had big island,
Yes.
the flying island spaceship, whatever it was, and he kidnapped his father and he killed him. Like it seemed like it was like an illusion, but Krishna, he exhibited like lamentation and was crying, and so like how to like digest that. In terms of, because we say if you're spiritually advanced, it will be tested, but these personalities they exhibit such like worldly weakness in a sense, externally.
Krishna was restricted when the coward boys went into the mouth of the Asura.
Oh yeah, yes.
Mother Yashoda was lamenting piteously when Krishna was taken away by the Trinamarta tornado.
Mm.
So that's, I said, it's like, it's the other side of the Viraj River. So that all the emotions and the material realm have a pure origin, counterhole in the spiritual. So the test is, okay, this emotion, whether it's sadness, fear, anger, shame, humility, is this emotion moving me deeper into self-realization and Krishna consciousness? If so, then it's spiritual emotion. And that's the case with Krishna's emotions or when they showed his emotions. Or is this feeling, is this emotion, is this state of being, is this taking me further away from enthusiasm for self-realization and practice of sadhana? If so, then it's material orientation. It's a grudge. It's material fear, anger, greed, lust. So everything in the material realm has its pure origin in the spiritual realm. So there's spiritual fear, spiritual desire, spiritual greed, spiritual anxiety, spiritual lamentation, spiritual hatred. And the test for us practically is, okay, is it taking away from inspiration for something, for self-realization, or is it moving me deeper?
Good or bad or bitter or sweet. It's all there, but I think I like how Prabhupada said sometimes it's like the same Krishna consciousness, but the same action and different consciousness or something like that.
Same action, different consciousness. He gives the example, someone could be building a house for himself to enjoy, and he's hammering nails and carrying planks of wood. So, and then there could be a devotee of Krishna building a house, and the activity looks the same. Hammering nails and carrying planks of wood. The activity looks the same. But the devotee is building this house. Oh, this will be a temple for Krishna. Or this, yes, I will reside here. But this, but I will use this for kirtan. I will use this for Bhagavatam discussion. And so it's the same action, but quite a different result. One result is further implicating myself in karma. Yes, I'll use this house to eat, drink, and be merry and enjoy. It's just all about my sense gratification. So I'm implicated in karma and the cycle of birth and death. And the other one is building, the activities look the same, but the other one, it's a process of liberation.
That's something coming up from the point of evaporated. How much you